welcome to a special edition of the GuestX podcast. My name is Matthew Loney, and we are in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, at the Phocuswright Summit, where we are talking to a number of guests. So we are pleased to have you, and looking forward to talking to today's guest with reTravel. It is Revital Kristal. Thank you for joining us. For those of our listeners who have never been to Phocuswright, a big piece of it is the, I guess, competitions around technology. I think the big companies do it as well, but really a lot of the focus is on the smaller startups getting to come and really, it's an honor to be invited, because it's not something you can just you can pay your way. You have to fill out an entire application, and they've got selection committee. So congratulations on that with reTravel. But then you come and you compete, and you're competing at the summit where you speak in front of a panel, and they kind of ask questions and then judge your technology. Is that kind of the?
Yeah. So we have kind of a 5-minute pitch. And there are the things that we need to make sure that are part of our pitch. So what's new in our technology, what is our business model, who is the team, and if there's anything that we can share, like how the system works. Yep. And you have to do it in 5 minutes. And you have to be very exact in the way you do it, right? So you really need to think about the words that you're saying. It's not like having a half an hour presentation when you can be relaxed and take your time and think about a slide and take a pause maybe from time to time. You have to be very exact in what you're saying, and to do it very quickly to make sure that you're saying all the things you want to say and be on time, because they can shut you down if you're taking it over 5 minutes.
And how long did you have to prepare for the summit? How long ago did they let you know you've been chosen? You've been kind of building up and working towards those 5 minutes?
I don't remember. I think we had about a month notice, so it was good enough time for us to prepare a presentation, to think about exactly what we want to say. We already presented in the past in the Europe conference as well. Okay. So we kind of know how it's going to work and what they wanted to say. They told us that it had to be a new presentation, so that was the hard one.
No recycling.
Yeah, no recycling. So then, okay, we need to really think about it. But there are things that just forbidden, right?
Sure.
What I'm doing did not change.
Yeah.
So it was kind of challenging to think about it. And it was also shorter. So in Europe, I had 6 minutes. Now it's 5. Like, okay, what I'm taking off into my pitch. It was already tight enough for 6 minutes. Okay, but fine. I think we managed it.
So did you do well? You feel you did okay on stage, or you can't remember anything?
I can't remember anything. No, to be honest, I feel like eventually I said all the important things that I wanted to say. I feel that I wish I could be more relaxed while I was doing it, but I guess I will need to present my solution a few more times in order to get to this point and I feel more comfortable on stage. But that's it.
And for our listeners that haven't attended, it's actually a really, really cool presentation. You get to present in front of several hundred people in a lot of cases, and a huge panel of executives. So some of the world-leading, and we can actually say world-leading technology platforms in the hospitality industry. So an opportunity for a smaller company or startup company to come to a conference like this and speak in front of those executives, it's a very nerve-wracking experience, because you have one chance to present for 5 minutes. So imagine being on Shark Tank and doing your 5-minute pitch to them and then saying, okay, we're going to fund you or not fund you. That's exactly what's happening at this conference. So it's a very unique opportunity. For our listeners, I'd love them to learn a little bit about what you guys do and the technology that you guys are coming up with, and get them to explore who you guys are.
Sure. So, saying it very short.
You've got to.
I can give you a 5-minute pitch if you want. We are machine learning powered cross-selling technology that creates and maximizes new revenue streams for travel companies. So travel agencies and airlines use us to sell anything to their travelers, and it can be parking, insurance, COVID test, eSIM, like and many other additional ancillaries, right, are part of our diverse marketplace of trusted providers. And we're basically focusing on all the ancillaries that come after booking the flight and the hotel. And in the end, the traveler's journey is fragmented. They're not buying everything at the moment that they book the flight and the hotel. And we are there to offer them the right product at the right time with the right
So
channel.
how do you do that? Are you doing that through email communications? Are you doing that through SMS? Are you using a combination of things?
So first of all, we are leveraging contextual offering. So we're kind of finding the right context to use, share with the traveler to give them value, and then on that we're offering the product. So I can give you an example. COVID tests is something that we sell. So we usually will send to the traveler a day after we book the flight or hotel, kind of an email with information of all things you need to do before going to this trip regarding the restriction and guidelines for COVID. And then you can get a list of the document you need to fill, the statement you need to sign, and the COVID test you need to book. And usually they follow the instructions and book the COVID test. So it's kind of contextual, right? It's not like book COVID test and that's it.
Right. Is it white labeled?
It's a white label
Okay, it is a white label solution. So you, to some extent, for reTravel, it's nice because you're getting to kind of ride the coattails of these bigger brands, consumer brands that they've bought through. And obviously there's a trust factor there. So you feel that, I guess, the advantage or what the added value that your company is bringing, is it around, and maybe it's both, but is it around the machine AI learning as they're doing this across, hundreds of thousands of guests, or is it just the relationships with the people who are providing these ancillary services that maybe, an airline's not going to go out maybe and negotiate certain things, right? But you can aggregate all of those and do it.
Exactly. So it's both.
Okay.
It's both. Okay.
Yep.
It's also being the one that aggregating all of these providers into one platform and giving you the access to them in a plug and play, right? I want to sell attractions, I want to sell coffee tests, I want to sell taxis. It's just a plug and play for them. It's very easy for them, and we take the connection with the providers, and they can select if they want to work with my commercials or them. But usually I have good commercials because we are managing a lot of booking.
Right.
And also, I don't remember exactly what was the second
Well,
one.
and then the other one's the machine AI. Obviously.
The machine,
that's obvious.
So that's obvious. It has to be smart, okay? So the system always look who's the traveler. Does it make sense that I will offer them car hire in Manhattan? Maybe not. So it's kind of making sure that you're making the right offer to the right person. Like a good example could be if there is a flight delay. Okay, so the system will see if the traveler is a business traveler, you may offer them a lounge access. If it's a family, maybe it will be a coupon for Starbucks. So the system really knows who's the travelers and kind of adjusting the offering, and you can do it in real time. So really, when you're opening the email, I don't know if you do sometimes you open it, it will do a recalculation.
So how many destinations can you guys serve? How many are you? Where are you? Is it
We
serviceable in the U.S.?
Currently, we operate in the U.S. and Europe. Those are our two main markets, and we're looking to grow.
You're looking to grow?
Yeah. I think something
Oh, yeah, that's okay. They'll cut it. There we go. Thank you, Bill. So one of the questions I've got is around redemption. And I would imagine, putting myself on the panel maybe of the judges, scalability becomes a question, right? Is how do you, some things you can maybe do on a national scale, COVID tests, easier to do on a national scale. Local tours and attractions, some of which are timed, some of which have timed entry, some of which have capacity issues, taxis, maybe you could do an Uber there though. But, how do you aggregate enough to have to sell? And, looking, and maybe right now, I know you're early on, but as you kind of grow, how do you solve that problem? How do you solve like redemption? For things that are tougher to book, if it requires a ticket, those type of things.
First of all, we build our system in a way that it will be easy for us to grow and add more providers and really query endless type of providers and services as we need. So that's the kind of from the ground up. This is how we build the system. And then eventually, before we go into the offer, we're doing the availability search. So we are not going to offer the traveler something that we know it's not available. We do it prior to sending the engagement.
And you're doing that through AI. So the system's
Yeah.
automatically learning what's available and what isn't, and then basically editing the offers in real time.
Do the hotel or the hotels, I guess, or do they have access to the data, the enriched data of their guests that they could then activate behind later, or is that your proprietary?
First of all, I mean, we save only anonymized data. Okay. So when we start looking on segments, we're looking on trends. We're focusing not on who's the traveler, right, but who are the most likely part of the specific segment. It makes sense. And eventually, so all the data that we collect will also give value to our customers, right? Because we know what.
So you share that back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. So they can at least know what type of things their guests are choosing to partake in.
If they book something, right, then we send back the information of what was booked.
Wow.
So you can look on the traveler and see, okay, they booked the flight and hotel through me, but then they booked parking and insurance through reTravel. They can see it in our UI.
And that's not easy, right?
And no,
that's down to the guest.
Down to the guest, you can. So I know you need to service them later, right? If something happens, in this way, you know exactly who booked it. You can export it to your middle back office system later on if needed. So everything is all the information.
And if the guest has an issue, the taxi doesn't show up or things like that, are they calling reTravel? They're calling the
agency.
Okay.
Because it was a white label solution, they don't know where.
They don't really know that you exist. Yeah.
Sometimes if it's affiliate, I mean, there are cases where we use affiliate links, then they know they book it not through the agency, but through
Sure. Okay. Really interesting. And where in the U.S. are you focusing mainly in cities and the urban markets, or
no,
entire country?
Yeah, entire country.
Wow. And selling mainly hotels and airlines?
We are currently working with OTA in the U.S., but we have one airline that's doing a proof of concept with us.
Yep.
And we have TMCs as well that working with us from the UK.
Okay.
So kind of everything.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well done. 1 year in business, right?
1 year in business.
That's
COVID.
a lot of business.
That is a lot. Yeah.
It's a COVID business.
It's a great time to launch.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't
It really
you
is.
launch?
You have so many people's attention on a computer all the time.
That's true.
They can do a lot of research really quick.
I think our solution is why not? Like, I mean, for them, it's no brainer, right?
Yeah.
We take the technology effort on us. The business model is mostly commission sharing. So why not engage your travelers?
Well, maybe that'd be a good way for us to end. So a tough question somebody asked me once was, if you were an investor and you had to come up with one reason not to invest. I know, see, but you got to think, there's got to be something that you lay in that. Like every business has got, their top 5. Like these are the things we've got to tackle. I think it's a good perspective. What do you think your things are that, you may not have been to that point yet, but at some point we're going to have to do this or we're going to have to tackle that. What keeps you up at night?
That's really a tough question.
Yeah. Matt likes tough questions.
Tough questions. At the end of my day,
after being on stage, and she still can't remember what she said.
And what would be the exact and the right answer? I don't know. I mean, one of the things that I'm thinking all the time is about the service part, right? And the trust part. So for me, I want to get into a point when people know that the providers that are working inside of GuestX are trusted providers. And it's kind of and it's kind of a balance that we need to find, because we want to give the providers, the small providers, the place to go and put their information inside GuestX by themselves, so they can promote it and they can kind of offer it to new channels. For one side, and from the other side, I want my customers to know that if there is small providers inside GuestX, it's a trusted provider.
They're good. They're there for a reason.
Yeah, and for me to do that, it will require resources, right? There are so many providers out there. Making sure they are trusted.
I think the good part is, I mean, the reviews are pretty now. You know, I mean,
we will find a solution.
Right, there's ways to scrape. That's right. I have no doubt that you will.
I will find a solution. We will work it out. Don't worry.
What was your background?
I used to be a VP product in a leading online booking tool.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yes, she will find a solution.
She will find it. She knows the industry. She's going to do well.
Well, thank you very much for joining, and congratulations. Look,
Thank you.
a lot of companies will never get here, you know, so I'm sure you did. You know, people often tell you, I'm sure you did way better. You're much harder on yourself than other people are, so I'm sure you did great. Thank you.
Thank you, Bo.
Thank you.
Absolutely.